Hey guys, it's January 6, 2017. Welcome to This Week at Vorshlag, our first video of the new year. We're back in John's area. We just made another batch of these laser cut and pre-bent toe loops. We use them for the S197. It goes through the lower shock mount, but you can use them on almost anything. And then we powder coat them red. That's really pretty. This is just a few of the new camber plates we built at the end of 2016. And these are going on our brand new website, which we're launching in 2 or 3 days. We're really close. FRS V8 swap motor mounts, transmission cross members will be on our brand new website when it launches in a few days, so check that out. So Donnie just built our first batch of stainless steel S197 backing plates. 3-inch oval, and he's making some 4-inch oval ones now. We'll show that in a second. But these are ready to go. We're waiting on some of the spacers and some of the hardware. We'll be shipping these early next week. So this is our new design. The stainless steel gives it a bit more insulative properties around the tie rod, which is really close, and so it should work better, and the oval pipe will get more of the air under the rotor. Such pretty stainless steel goodness. So this is an E46 M3 rear subframe. We had it blasted bare, and Ryan has modified it and made mounts to fit this Ford aluminum housing. This is out of a 99 to 04 Cobra. They use them in a bunch of different cars. Ford did. Super strong, very lightweight. 8.8-inch ring gear is bigger than any ring gear BMW's ever put in a car, so it can handle much more power in the E46 M3, which is going to shoot for about 650 wheel. Okay, we had to restart here on a different day because the microphone I'm using went dead. So we're going to go back to talking about the E46 M3 rear subframe. This is for our big crazy power E46 M3. As you can see, we've modified the subframe. There's some custom front mounts for this twin ear 99 to 04 Cobra aluminum center section from a Mustang Cobra. It uses an 8.8-inch ring gear, which is bigger in diameter, and with diameter comes strength. So the front mounting is all custom. The back mounting uses the BMW mounts, and then Ryan has built a modified rear cover for an 8.8. This is a steel cover that we bought, and then he made these mounts, and it'll just bolt right in. We had to do that. All of the 8.8 rear covers that have a dual air mount were too far out and ran into the sway bar, which mounts right here. So it's kind of a tight package. But that's really all we had to do. Modify the front mount, make this custom rear mount, and we got an 8.8-inch aluminum center section. So a lot of gear choices are really inexpensive. Limited slips options are better and less expensive than this, the 210mm ring gear E46 M3 housing. This is the large case. There's 3 case sizes in BMW. There's a 168mm, it's used in 4-cylinder cars typically, a 188mm, which is used in 6-cylinder cars for the most part, and then the 210, which is used in the big cars, the 5 Series, 7 Series, and then the E46 M3. So it's supposedly pretty strong, but it's got a really long nose. It's a steel housing. I just put this thing up on the table. It weighs more than an engine block for an LS1. It's like 109 pounds, so this whole thing's soaking wet. And it's probably good enough to 5, maybe even 600 rear wheel horsepower, but we're doing more than that. We're using a lot of torque, and it would probably spit this thing out, start spitting out teeth. So we don't want to do that. We went with the Ford 8.8. It'll be lighter, it'll be stronger, and we'll have more gear options. So a little bit of progress in the last week since my last update. We've got some different control arms I borrowed from the guys at Clown Shoe Motorsports. We're going to put on this car so I can take the M3 ones and send them down to the guys at SPL Parts in Austin, make a billet lower arm that's adjustable and camber and caster, a lot stronger, go to sphericals, get rid of the factory style ball joints and this unacceptably terrible rear lower control arm bushing. I mean, it's like a marshmallow. I mean, I'm just moving that with my foot. It's all supposed to be rigid and barely rotate. It's terrible. So we're going to have those guys make a kick-ass front arm because they're getting into more BMW offerings now, just like they do on all the Nissans and BRZs, to make a really awesome control arm. So in the last week, it was a short week because of the holidays. Ryan worked on several other cars, but he did get the tilt and mount for this triple reservoir that mounts to the cage, and the dash is back in the car. The electric steering is it's wired up and ready to test. It'll have a variable ratio for the EPAS system, which would be really nice. Again, no more hydraulic fluid is the goal. And the rest of the interior, we still have several parts we're waiting on. We should have some more progress in about a week. So this E36 4-door might not look like much, but it's rather unique on our shores because it is a right-hand drive E36. Why does that matter? Well, we make a lot of LS swap kits for right-hand drive cars, or I mean for the left-hand drive US market cars, but the guys in Australia are nuts about LS motors, so we're going to use this chassis and develop the headers, motor mount, transmission crossmember, drive shaft, steering shaft, the Stage 0 kit for the right-hand drive cars. So that's exciting. It's something we've been trying to do for the last 10 years, and we get 3 or 4 calls a week from Australian guys that are begging for this kit. Now we can make it. Hopefully by Q2 of 17, we'll have a kit for right-hand drive E36. All right, another S197 in the shop. Looks like Big Red, our old car. It's got a Tiger Racing hood, glass roof. It's got our old wing that we use, the APR wing. It's a little bit different than our car was. It's gutted interior. It's got the Watson Racing 4-point, which I love their cages. I'm not a fan of where the rear down bars mount. But we're going to cage this car eventually, and we'll get rid of the glass roof. Probably have AJ Hartman make a carbon fiber roof for the S197, which we need for a couple of cars. So cool car. It's got some good AST shocks. Came off of Mark Council's car, so they've kind of made their way around. But aluminum diffuser. We're going to do something similar on the E36 LS car we're working on right now. So I talked about the S197 backing plates. There's a 3-inch oval version. This is the 4-inch. We're also making a C5, C6 Corvette and a 5th-gen Camaro. So we've got several new stainless brake backing plate cooling kits coming for a bunch of different cars. Another E46 M3 in the shop this week. We did an AJ Hartman carbon, dry carbon sunroof delete panel. And we used 2 coats of clear that Shiloh at Heritage Precision put on and buffed it. And it came out really nice. And you do that because dry carbon doesn't do well in the elements. UV protection is not part of carbon fiber. It's made to be painted, coated, or wrapped. So this UV protectant clear coat will keep it looking good for years to come. As you can see, this is an APR carbon wing, and this is generally what happens to real carbon when it's out in the sun. It gets the top layer gel coat starts to flake away because it's not a UV protectant. That's what real race carbon does, and so that's why on a street car that's going to see a lot of sunlight, we do this covering. So this is an Imola Red M3. It's really nice. It's got an SMG. Guy tracks it, and we put in a pair of Sparco Evo 2 seats that use the factory seat belts, and you can see how we routed them down here. It goes through the seat. That's what the tech guys want to see. And when he comes back and does a roll bar or cage, we can put real harnesses in it. On sliders, we did custom mounts. Ryan built all that. We've done a bunch of these, so it's fairly straightforward for us to do an E46 install, keep it really low, and have plenty of headroom. Losing the sunroof cassette dropped 70 pounds out of the car, and you gain about 1.5 inches of headroom in that spot. If you keep the factory headliner, it's still going to kind of be bumped down at the sides. Getting a non-sunroof headliner is really expensive. They're 4 figures and have to be imported from Germany. Our 92 Corvette Project Danger Zone is still for sale. I'm about to put it up on eBay. We found a lot of spare parts for the car during our annual shop purge of a bunch of parts. You'll see I never really sell anything on eBay except for used parts. So if you go search for Vorshlag on eBay, you'll see a lot of used parts for sale. They're selling really fast. I got them priced aggressively. And again, I found a bunch of parts for the C4 that'll go with that car. A bunch of spares, calipers and rotors and extra things. So I got a lot of mufflers and catalytic converters from Magnaflow this week. This is a big 22-inch case. It's a 5x11 oval 3-inch inlet outlet. We're going to use on the 330 for the exhaust for the daily driven track car. I know these make a lot of power, but they're really quiet. They are a bit heavier than, let's say, the Magnaflow race mufflers, which is, I think it's a 5x7. This is a 4-inch inlet outlet, and you can see right through this thing. You can stick your arm through here. This is going to go on LS-powered E36 M3 with 2 cats upstream. It's going to go dual 3-inch into a single 4, and then this is going to be in the rear in a big diffuser. We'll actually use another one of these vibrant 4-inch to dual 3 as exhaust tip. It's going to look pretty slick. CNC Room got caught up on a lot of purchases this week. They just made a run of R53 camber plates, so we'll have those back in stock early next week. And a bunch of material just showed up for some new projects, some new products, and yeah, excited about that. CNC Room's really turned this around and helped us out a lot in 2016, and I'm excited that we're now caught up on all of our inventory, and we're building bigger inventories and new products. All right, my next video, I'll talk about our open house. It's in the 3rd week of February. We also have a brand new website that's ready to launch this next week, finally. It looks great. It works better on mobile. A lot of new products will be in there, including our FRS V8 swap parts. That's the only reason we haven't launched those is the new website's not ready to go. But it's really close. Look for that in the next week. Thanks for tuning in for this week of Vorshlag. We'll see you next time.